Hello and welcome to Film Seizure. I'm Chuck Moore. With me, as always, are my cohorts, Jason Oliver. Hi, Jason.
Hello. Hello, Chuck. You said film seizure so sultry. So you were very sultry. Yeah.
I always do that.
Yeah.
I always do that when I'm trying to go with scary. I get sultry.
You get sultry.
Well, that's pretty scary.
It's real spoopy up in here. We also have Jeff Arbuckle.
What's up? What's up, Chuck?
What's up?
How's it going, man? How's it going? Happy Friday the 13th, Chuck.
That's why we're here. I said I was sexy, but really I'm trying to be spoopy. It's Friday the 13th, and since we have discussed the entirety of the current Friday the 13th franchise, we're going to do a bit of a ranking. Not even a bit of a ranking. We're going to do a ranking.
Yeah, this is our 13th Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Well,
I just died.
Isn't it?
Well, not technically, because we did.
Because
So we got a whole history. All I'm gonna say is we got a history with Friday the 13th.
Yes.
A sultry one.
Yeah, you basically covered every movie. I've been here for the last few, so
Mhm.
some of your opinions on the older ones I may not know.
Well,
But yeah,
those
we're
are some
gonna
of your favorite episodes, though. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff. I mean, this episode is going to be adjacent to Jason saying adjacent to Jason.
I was super drunk for the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. I remember that. I remember
man.
getting soused on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I was there for that, honestly, because as you're going to find out, that's my favorite Friday the 13th stuff. But yeah, we're gonna start with basically just go 12-1. Right.
12-1. Yep. And what we'll do is we each have our own ranking. And then what I'm doing is, as you guys give your ranking, like whatever your number is, I'm plugging it in so that we can get an aggregate for the show.
Okay.
You're gonna be beep boop boop beep boop boop on the background.
Yep. I'm gonna be calculating that shit.
Yeah. You do it.
Tabulating.
Jeff.
Yes.
I'm going to let you pose the questions from 12-1, just so you control make sure we're on the right.
I've got the
number.
Verticals and the horizontals over
Yes, yes, please get vertical with me.
here. Okay.
Starting with number 12.
Wait, you want me to go? What happened?
Yes.
All right. So my least favorite. Are we gonna should we have like a number 12?
Number 12.
Number 12.
Yeah, we'll each do that every time.
Yeah.
All right. By far and away, my least favorite, the least fun I have watching a movie in my life, probably has to go to Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday.
This was a tough one for me. It is really tough between my 12th and my 11th. Man, it is tough. And they both have a thing that I love. So it makes it even tougher to choose to say which one I hate more. But I'm going to have to slightly disagree and put Jason X as my number 12.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to admit something right now because I don't have a good list. Somebody ping me one where you can see all the movies in order. But
just go to Wikipedia, yo.
I was, and it was being weird. I think I agree with Jason. Jason X is, while it's fun, like it does have some really fun stuff. I remember you having to explain to me, Jeff, the stupidity of that movie in our episode and how Voorhees had to, like, he was brought alive by sex and all that shit.
Uh-huh.
Like if you can't pick that up watching that movie, it's just bad.
So I actually illuminated you on that.
You did. You illuminated Jason and I, as I remember. We were both like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. Okay. Well, now here's the thing. I give it to Jason Goes to Hell. Now, I will say, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Jason X is my next one. So number 11
Number
is Jason
11.
is Jason X. But for Final Friday, like, one, I understand that you want to try to do something different, right? You want to try to do something different with the franchise. However, when you have that far of a departure, and it is so totally divorced from the 8 previous entries, it's a slog, and it's not fun, and you don't see Jason except for when he gets blown up, which I know, Jason, that you love that part of the movie.
That's why it's not my least favorite.
Okay.
The opening scene is wonderful.
Right. And then, but you don't see him again until the very end when he reconstitutes himself or whatever. Right. But it's so divorced that it just doesn't, it means nothing to me. It means less than nothing to me.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah. It's a very bad movie. And I remember being so excited that there was a new Friday the 13th movie. And I went to the movie theater and saw it with one of my brothers. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What? Yeah, I did that for like 93 minutes or however long.
Where's
the movie
Jarmo?
Was. Where's Jarmo? It's just, it felt like, and I don't say this lightly because I don't want to be like one of those internet fucks, but here I am, an internet fuck about to say this. It felt like a character assassination. It was now being owned by the studio that owned the rival.
Right.
And it felt like an assassination.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to take this Jason Voorhees down a notch. He's not as cool as our Freddy guy.
Right. And we're going to somehow make a movie that's worse than the last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is that they didn't just somehow do it. They had a wide berth. Like they went way under that bar to the point where, I mean, they went well under that bar. Anyway.
So yeah, I assume then you just said, Jeff, your 11th is Jason X. My 11th is Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. Narrowly eking it out based on the strength of the opening scene. That strength of the opening scene is a little bit stronger than David Cronenberg saying, I want him soft. So there you go. What about you, Chuck?
Yeah, so I have a feeling we're going to meet on a lot of these, Jason, because I mean, it's hard you have to split hairs over these two movies, really, anyway. And surprisingly, the liquid nitrogen kill in X is the best kill between these two movies.
Absolutely. That's a great effect. That's a great, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the guy beating the other guy, the guy in a sleeping bag getting beaten by another guy in a sleeping bag is pretty good too.
It's good. It's good as an homage. The original kill is better in my opinion. But yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, my number 11 is Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. And I don't have a lot to say about that, which is weird because I remember Jason X much better. I might have to revisit my opinion on this now that I think about it, but I won't right now.
But see, but
number 10. No, sorry.
Well, no, I mean, no, I mean, but you bring up a good point though, right? Like I live most of my days not ever like having a memory of Jason Goes to Hell until somebody says, hey, Jason Goes to Hell is a pretty shitty movie, isn't it? And I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this movie. And that means that I think about it far, far less than all that stupid bullshit that happens in the space movie.
It's true.
You know, and so that's another reason why it's like as dumb. I give extra points to Jason X for being the dumb space one.
Yeah. Sure.
It's number 10.
Number 10.
No, you were saying, Jason.
No, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
So Jason, you go. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead, Jason.
I don't really know yet, honestly, because this is where it starts getting into the murky waters,
the muddy middle.
Because I'm really tempted to say part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, but that one has some weird sentimental value for me because it's weirdly one of the first ones I actually saw. And
And
I
you probably
kind of,
saw it in the theater too, right?
I
I didn't
absolutely
know,
did.
I didn't see it in the theater. I was only 10 when that came out. I didn't see it in the theater. I think Final Friday I saw in the theater. Oof. So no, and a lot of these I never saw in the theater. Most of them. So I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I think it still has to be. I think it still has to be Jason Takes Manhattan because that's a cheap movie, man, and it has a great poster and it had a great setup, but it didn't deliver. It just didn't deliver on the actual taking of Manhattan, other than like the one great shot in the middle of Times Square. That's it, right?
Well, it does also have the greatest outtake ever when he tosses that guy down the fucking escalator.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has it honestly has one of the best scenes in the entire series. And Jason, I think you will agree with this: the boxing match.
Oh yeah, I always loved that when I was a kid. I always loved that when I was a kid. He knocks the guy's
Yeah.
block off.
It
The
literally
uppercut
knocks the
fucking
block.
kill is so
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah,
And
and it goes into the trash can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I mean-
and then Jason has to go down and get it and then stick it in the car in the cop car. That's
yeah.
great. That's great. I want to see the scene of Jason going into the dumpster to pull out the head.
Man,
Yeah, so-
I don't know. I don't know. I'm tempted to take that back.
While you're
Oh.
thinking, while you're tempted to take it back, I'll go and I'll tell you
Okay.
why 7 falls in this spot for me.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because 7 broke the rules and I hated it. You had Jason as the killer and everyone else were normal humans fighting him. Then they introduced this wizard 9-year-old chick who can, I don't know, telekinesis, whatever the hell. She breaks the rules on whatever
it was
she
Carrie. It was Carrie.
does. Yeah, which is cool for a fan of Stephen King, but there's a lot about that movie I don't like. Like it's on Crystal Lake, but it doesn't feel like Crystal Lake. I think it's on
That's
Crystal
fair.
I don't
will
like 7 either. And
I-
that's
I
that's
will
the one
say-
I'm waffling with, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say it ranks, I'm not going to say way higher, but considerably higher for a couple of reasons that I'll get to later. But my number 10 is Jason Takes Manhattan. But there is a huge leap between my 11, which is Jason X. There's a huge space between 12 and 11 and 11 and 10. Now
agree
we
with
start getting now I'm starting to get into some murkiness with starting with the next one. So anyway,
Yeah, I
Jason,
mean, I can take something away from 8 and 7 that I enjoy for
Sure.
sure. 10 and Final Friday, not as much. But go ahead.
No,
Jason,
that I'd rather die than watch those movies if I can avoid it.
I'd rather
All
get
right.
killed by Jason Voorhees.
All right,
Right.
I'm switching it up. I'm switching mine up.
Ooh, switching it up.
My number 10, is that what we're on?
Yeah, 10.
I'm going to do the remake.
Okay.
I'm going to do the remake for number 10. Yep.
Well, I will go. Let me go ahead and go with number 9 because
Number 9.
number 9 for me is the remake. But again, there's a real, it's a sliver between 8 and remake for me because there are things that that 8 does that I can't really forgive it for. The remake, I feel like we talked about it. I mean, I feel like the remake was a somewhat earnest and decent chance at trying to make the greatest hits of the Friday the 13th. Like you had the guy looking for his sister. You had the great opening scene.
Yeah.
Which is almost like a little movie itself. So for the greatest hits value of it, I give it the 9 spot.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I
Chuck,
on 9?
Chuck, yeah, you give us number 9, Chuck. Number
Jeez.
9.
I can't help think that I keep making mistakes, but 9 for me. Yeah, it's gonna be Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay.
It's it's waffling on the edge of like the real, what I consider like real Friday the 13th, and being not real Friday the 13th. But it's good. It's got moments I like.
It's funny if you put it that way, then it makes sense that it leads into the final Friday. Because
Yeah, it totally feeds that film.
yeah. Although I would also say that 8 kind of also has that definitive ending where it really does seem like they killed Jason with toxic goo, or
Right.
they made a super Jason, and he's going to be like Godzilla size.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Jason, what do you feel for number 9?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with part 7. I'm gonna go with part 7. The nostalgia is carrying me through on Jason Takes Manhattan. I can tell you right now that I would rather watch Jason Takes Manhattan than the New Blood or the remake. So
what's funny is that Jason Takes Manhattan. I will give you that if we were going to have like a let's watch some goofy 80s horror movies for fun night, and everybody just sit around and get drunk and watch some goofy movies, that would be one that would be on the short list to be a play.
Yeah,
on that.
Yeah. So there you go. What is that? My number 9th or
Number
my 8th?
9. Yes, number 9.
Yep.
Is the New Blood.
Okay.
The New Blood.
Chuck, why don't you give us number 8? Why don't you go first?
Number 8. So I've picked
Number 8.
I should have written these down first, for crying out loud. But for number 8, for me, is going to be the remake.
Okay.
Again, like you said, Ernest, I just didn't like the version of Jason Voorhees in this.
That's
like
fair.
Even a little. We talked about this if you want to know our true feelings on this, but he's just not Jason Voorhees in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks good. It's got funny stuff, and the kills are gory. So I thumbs up for that.
Yeah. And there was the one guy that I did, it's like there were a couple of the characters I actually did like.
Yeah.
And that's beyond like the Asian guy. I liked him. So I'm going beyond the Jared Padalecki character, anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
So 7?
We haven't done 8 yet.
Well, no, you're on 8. I haven't done 8 yet either.
I'm on 8. Well, 8 for me is 8.
8 for you is 8. Okay.
I've now decided, yes, Jason Takes Manhattan will go into my 8th spot.
8 is 8. 8 is great. All right. Cool. My number 8 is Freddy versus Jason. It is a movie that has aged poorly in 20 years.
Yeah.
Although it still has fun qualities to it. And I enjoy watching what's her face that was for a little while on Dawson's Creek. What's her name? Monica Keena.
Yeah.
I like her.
I'm gonna go with 8 being Freddy versus Jason as well. But I will say,
oh wait, no, Chuck, you're on 7.
Oh shit. Where am I? All right. So yeah, it's my 7. Then Jason needs to go. I didn't see your. I'm bad at this marking. If I'm at 7, then I will put Freddy versus Jason there. My apologies.
Okay. That's all right.
Now I can see what's happening on this list. I will say the moment when Jason stabs the dude and folds him in the bed is one of my favorite moments in the entire series, and led to
and also go ahead. Sorry, Chuck.
No, it led to the creation of Jason Snorhees because of all of the all of the Sleep Number bed commercials I saw where they raise and which I think about Jason Snorhees all the time. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I was about to say I forgot that Catherine Isabel is also in that.
Yes,
she is.
So extra points to the two ladies there then.
Yeah,
and to Furcus from A Christmas Story.
Scott Furcus is in it, or are you joking?
Isn't that the bully?
Well, no, Scott Furcus is from A Christmas Story, but is he in Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the older brother of the
Of the
one
messed
who
up
kills
kid.
himself by Freddy
Yeah.
makes him kill himself.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
This is probably the second time you've told me this.
it is. I
And
think I
forgot
mentioned it in the episode, but anyway.
Yeah. It's also got that Jason Mewes lookalike. His
Yes.
dollar store Jason Mewes in it.
Yeah, dollar store
Yes.
Jason Mewes. Okay, so is it me then?
Yeah, number 7 for you.
So number 7 for me is Friday the 13th Part 3.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Freddy versus Jason rising on the list there.
I am not a fan of Part 3. I just
Wow,
am
okay.
not. I don't
we
like most
nearly
of the
killed
I don't
our
like most
eyeballs.
of the characters. It's a little more fun in 3D if you can watch it in 3D, like in the real 3D that they have now, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. Like it's fun. It's definitely a fun one for backyard movie night in 3D. But as a movie, I don't enjoy it. So yeah, that's my next pick.
Okay. Well, I guess that lands me on 7 then. My 7 is the 5th one, A New Beginning.
Okay.
While I have grown in appreciation for it over the years, like if you had asked me in 1990 this list, 8 and 5 would have been at the bottom. But thankfully, newer movies came out that sucked. And then I have grown in appreciation for A New Beginning. So that takes the 7. That takes the 7 for me.
Okay.
We're on 6 now.
Who do you want to go?
Jason. I want Jason to go.
All right. So this one is pretty firmly between two options. And I think I'm gonna say Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
Is my number 6. It could go either way, but Freddy versus Jason, man, I remember seeing it in the theater and it was a blast. And yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It has gotten less fun over time, but the fun stuff is still fun. And I do love a good old fashioned monster battle.
Sure.
So
Sure. I mean,
it's gonna settle in on the 6th spot.
it's on the 6th line there.
On the 6th line.
Yeah. I mean, as kind of nonsensical as the whole killing everybody at the rave in the cornfield.
Oh, it's a great scene though.
It's
fun.
a great scene though.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a damn bit of sense, but it's a fun scene.
Nope. But that's a fun one. So yeah, 6 for me, Freddy versus Jason.
Okay. Chuck, you want to go or you want me to go?
You go first here.
All right. Number 6.
Number 6. Jason didn't do his number 6.
I'm so confused. Are we still
You're
on
supposed
6?
to say number 6.
Number 6.
Yeah,
So
there
I'm
you
the
go.
only one that said 6 so far?
Right,
All right.
yes.
Okay.
I'm going now. My sixth line is The New Blood, Part 7.
The New Blood.
For a couple of reasons. One, it was the first one I saw in the theater. 2, my very favorite cover of Fangoria ever was the cover with Jason without his mask on, and you got to see like all of that fucking shit going on with his head. My brothers got Fangoria every month, and I remember they brought that home, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" And I think I ended up like, whenever they weren't looking at that magazine, I was like pouring through every picture from Friday the 13th Part 7. And it's got the incredibly satisfying weed whacker kill with Weekend at Bernie's guy.
Oh yeah.
And it's got the sleeping bag, the original sleeping bag kill. So for those reasons, it lands just outside top 5.
Interesting. So I'm lagging a little behind Jason on picking this, but I'm going to go with 3 here. It's the 3D it seems like a movie made for 3D that didn't have much else going for it. It's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna wow people with yo-yos off the deck and
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
all that stuff that
Juggling. Yeah.
yeah, juggling, all that stuff that would look great and be fun in a 3D movie. But honestly, like Jaws 3D did it better. As bad as that
That's
movie is too.
that's the only thing that is ever said that Jaws 3D did better than. Somehow, Friday the 13th even did Dennis Quaid better than Jaws 3D did. I don't know
Yeah.
how. Don't ask me how that happened, but they did.
So yeah, it's kind of a miracle to me that this franchise survived three. Like for real, like
Yeah.
you'd figure it would have died off, and you know,
Like
I don't know.
that was the last gasp. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The cash grab gimmick movie. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Well, can I just go ahead and do 5 because 5 for me is part 3.
You're
Yeah.
the boss.
Part 3 for me has I mean, again, it's a little bit of a nostalgia thing. When my brothers went to Montana for college, I took over one of their bedrooms, and that brother had the 3D. I mean, it wasn't lenticular, but it was like if you had like 3D glasses, it would look a little bit more like, it's sticking out. But he had the poster over his bed, and I slept under that for a little while, and that was fun. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's I even though the characters aren't really anything to write home about, those 3 identical brunettes that are in this movie that I know they have different character names, but they all look the same, are all right by me. So there you go.
I like it. I like
Cool.
it.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, I like it.
So that was 5.
That was 5 for me. Who's going next for 5?
I
You're
will
the boss.
go. I
Go
will
ahead,
go
Jess.
for 5, and for 5 for me is 5 in the series, A New Beginning.
Wow, we swapped them, Jason.
Yeah, I really like this movie. This one also is one that I saw a lot on TV for whatever reason. It was on cable TV a ton, like on USA Network.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of remember because I always remember. Wait, nope, never mind. I'm thinking of 4. I'm thinking of the guy watching the Jazzercise.
Oh yeah,
That scene was always on TV for some reason. I think there was a station that just replayed that one scene.
but this one also has risen in the ranks over the years. I other than the hillbillies, because they drive me up a wall. I think the rest of the movie is really solid. And I like the departure from the rest of the franchise. I like that they kind of stuck to their guns, right? I like the Stinger ending. I like the Tommy character, like him, dealing with his trauma from the previous movie. Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel about those enchiladas, though?
Those. I love what's her name's dance in her
God,
bedroom.
that girl is.
Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh,
And
baby.
while he's singing that, he is fucking up that outhouse.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean that's got to be terrible. But no, the girl who does the robot, she's like kind of adorable.
She's one of my favorite Friday the 13th characters for sure.
Then there's the other girl who the guy who stutters is trying to hit on, and then she's like kind of laughs at him. He's like, "Well, I was just kidding." It's like, oh.
And the really just mean like kill at the beginning of it is just wow. That sets all the events in motion. Who is the actor? He's I always forget. He
The EMT dude? Or
no, his
the candy
son.
bar kid.
His son.
Yeah, the candy bar kid.
Yeah, the candy bar kid. I forget he was in something else.
Oh yeah, hang on a second. Oh, I'm getting it.
Oh, it's driving me crazy. What's his name in that?
It's George. It's Vernon Washington.
Oh yeah. He was in
He was in Roots: The Next Generation.
No, not that guy. We got the wrong guy.
What?
That's not him. No, the guy who gets killed. The kid, the kind of like slow.
Oh, Vernon Washington is the little kid of the guy who eats the enchiladas, or is
Right?
the enchiladas.
No, yeah,
Yeah, he's the enchiladas
I
guy.
love that kid, but no,
That kid Reggie was that guy's. Was Vernon Washington. Yeah, Vernon. Yeah. Fuck.
Damn it.
It's oh God.
I'm not helping at all here.
No,
I'm
none of
sorry.
you are helping. This is terrible. Anyway, who cares? Yeah. So that's my number 5.
Joey Burns is the name of the character. He is Dominic Brescia. Anyway, he's somebody. He's a guy.
Okay.
Chuck, go ahead and give your 5.
All right, so I think I'm going to surprise you guys because 5 is about to float up like heavy.
Like the guy with the enchiladas.
Yeah, like the guy with the enchiladas. I'm gonna go with 2 here.
Okay. That's interesting.
Even though it's like the landmark Jason Voorhees. That 3 is almost that, right? In a way, when he takes the mask.
Right.
Like, it's a weird kind of like the icon of the series starts in one of my least favorite movies of the series, but 2 is good. It's real good. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't grab me like the next 4 will in my rankings.
All right.
Rush Week. That's the other movie that guy was in.
Yes.
Dominic Brescia.
Oh yes, I do remember.
Yes.
him.
I could not, for the life of me, pull it out of my ass.
Oh, I like Rush Week a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I
And
like
2,
that movie a lot.
I do need to say while we're talking about 2 because probably my favorite Final Girl.
Amy Steele, the
Yeah,
actress Amy Steele. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's Kristen Bell's mom.
Yeah.
She's wonderful in it. There's some great scenes in that movie. Like,
Well, the end is so like with her putting on the tricking Jason by putting on his dead mom's outfit.
yeah. But I think I'm still gonna slot it here. So
Okay.
So
it's on the
that's
5 line.
that's your number 4 is
5.
or
5.
That's your number 5. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jason, why don't you give number 4 now?
Okay. My number 4 is the OG. My
Okay.
number 4 is the first one.
Okay.
Yep. Lot to love, sets the template. Obviously, kind of the twist is pretty great, especially if you're someone who has it wasn't even the first one I watched, right? So I was
Right.
like, fully expecting like a Jason Hockey Mask movie. I think when I watched this for the first time, and it was very.
You would have
surprising.
been killed by Screamface.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go with number 4 because mine is also OG is the original. Starting here, well, really starting with number 5. This is yet another leap ahead of the next one down. The original is just, I mean, it's the template, right? It's the template for an entire generation of horror movies.
Yep.
Kevin Bacon gets it real good in the throat.
that's one of the best kills in the whole series for sure.
Yeah, and it has one of my favorite girls, which was his girlfriend. I think her name is Marcy, right? She's the one who takes one to the face like a champ with the axe. Big fan, but again, we're talking about this is next level business. Still, I mean, these are S tier stuff. So,
Yep.
Agree.
So Chuck, what's your number 4?
I am going to, man, I'm really struggling with this, but I'm going to put 5 here. This is a movie that I did not like when I first went through the Final Fantasy. I've been drinking beer, guys. Sorry. The Friday the 13th series. I mean, for obvious reasons, right? Jason's not the killer, which when you're whatever age I was, like I was a teenager when I saw this, was a real disappointment. But I do have a little sentimental value here because my brothers and we watched something called Mad Movies when we were kids. Do you guys remember Mad Movies?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, they would dub over the vocals on the movies. For some reason, my brothers and I would always do Friday the 13th Part 5. We'd turn down the volume and just take a character and do the voice for them. So some of the characters in this movie have like almost a different quality to them for me because I remember some of the things my brothers said when we did this. But it's just it's good, it's mean. I hated how mean it was when I was a kid. I love how mean it is now for some reason. Maybe that's like the 70s Italian shit that I watch now. I've just grown to love mean shit. But yeah, it's mean, good movie. I like it.
I will say that I always felt super, super bad for that chocolate kid.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, it's just, yeah, you know, when you get a little older, you realize like, oh man,
I know it's me.
that's a bummer. That's
Yeah.
a real bummer. Chuck, take us into the top 3, buddy.
All right, so top 3 for me.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
It's
Friday the 13th, 1980.
it's the original for me. Like this is I somehow managed to see this early. Like I saw Halloween when I was young. I saw this when I was young. I don't know how young, but I was young.
Yeah.
And Halloween was the movie that truly scared me. But Friday the 13th was like the movie that I just loved. I loved it when I was a kid. It's just more fun than Halloween, right? As good as Halloween is, Friday the 13th is just fun, and I love it. Yeah, that's what I got for that.
Okay.
My number 3. Number 3.
Number 3
is Part 2. Part 2 is
Same
number 3.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like part 2 quite a bit. Quite a bit.
I do, man. And you know I'm gonna say it.
You're gonna talk about the
Poop brown.
brown panties.
Yep. Poop brown undies.
Poop brown undies.
Yay.
I love me Amy Steele in this.
Yes.
Love her. She is my favorite final girl of the series. Yep. Love her.
Yeah, she is what's kind of great about her compared to all of the other final girls of this series is that she's almost asexual in this. I mean, like she does have a boyfriend. Like the one guy is her boyfriend, like the fucking Ken doll, whatever he is. But you never see them actually in really romantic things. Like they're going to the bar, they're hanging out, they're being more than just, you know, like fuck bunnies, you know. So it's like that makes her a really interesting and important figure, I think, when it comes to the entire genre or the subgenre of slashers. She's not overly sexualized. She's just the normal girl. She's just the girl you kind of hang out with and you like it, you know.
I want to bring up another aspect of her that I didn't mention when I ranked this movie. The fact that she contemplates what Jason is.
Yeah.
I think is really important to horror in general too. Like she when they're at the bar, she talks about what you know, what made him, like, is he really a monster? Because think about what happened to him. Like that's a very, like, it's kind of
she's
powerful.
the only person who questions his origin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is super important to the series in general.
Yeah, you almost kind of feel like the girl in 3 that has the past history with Jason, you feel like that's tacked on because people reacted to her thinking about what he is. So it's almost antithetical that what he becomes.
Yeah.
After that.
one other thing about Jason.
Well, he's right
doesn't-
here. Don't maybe we should wait until he's not here on the call anymore.
He doesn't let a teapot whistle for very long.
Oh yeah, you love that.
That's still one of my favorite things in the series too. He takes the
Well, it
teapot
is-
off the stove. It's
it is
fucking
annoying.
wonderful.
It's annoying. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with.
Yeah.
I'm Team Jason on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
So yeah, no, I mean, 2 is the perfect sequel to what the first one was. So
Agree.
yeah, I mean, they make Jason such a big part of the first one. You know, it's kind of great that they actually bring him in here. Anyway, yeah. So,
It's-
guess
I think
what,
we
guys?
should oh, go ahead. Go ahead. What?
Both of our the last 2 movies that have yet to be given a ranking are all the same for us.
Yeah.
So
I think the order will be slightly different.
There might be some swapping, but
Some
it's-
swoop.
some So for those who are keeping score, because I know everybody, I sent out everybody, everybody who listens to the show. I mean, I put it in the little value pack coupon thing, a little scorecard for everybody to listen to this episode and keep score at home. It's kind of like you're keeping bowling scores. So if you have been paying attention, fans at home, then you know that Friday the 13th final chapter and Friday the 13th part 6 Jason Lives are our top 2 movies.
Yep.
But how will they
be ranked?
number 2?
Number 2.
Number 2.
Jason.
No, we should let you do number 2.
Oh, you let me do number 2. Let me do the number 2.
Wait,
No,
who
let Jason do
does
number
number 2 work?
Actually, Jason. No.
I'll do number 2.
Okay.
My number two is part 6, Jason Lives.
Yeah.
It is you've got the non-Jason Friday the 13th movies, and you've got the actual Jason Friday the 13th movies. And of those 2, there is the old era, the Tommy Jarvis era, and then there's Tommy Jarvis is in both, but he's the bookend to the 2 different types of Jason movies, right? The classic Jason, and then the monster Jason, the supernatural Jason. And both of those 2 types of Jasons have 2 clear standout movies, right?
Yeah.
And Friday the 13th part 6, Jason Lives, is my favorite of the supernatural Jason movies. And it's wonderful. And I will let Jeff talk more about the Universal Monster aspect.
Okay. But not yet.
But not yet, because that's going to be Jeff's number 1.
That's what I was trying to. I was trying to arrange.
There was no way for us to.
I was trying to wobble it.
I just had to rip it off.
So I'll go with this one and say I agree with Jason on this as well. It is a bit of splitting hairs because I did grow up on Universal Monster movies and Abbott and Costello versus whomever and all that stuff. And this was like right in, it might be the first Friday the 13th I ever saw. And then I went and looked for the others. It's about that time. What was this? 86?
86 was one.
Yeah, 86. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It is awesome.
Its premise is really dumb. Like the whole reason that Jason comes back to kill everybody is because somebody wants to make sure he's dead.
He's dead.
Right.
Which is so
great.
dumb. But it's like it has everything. It has everything you could want in a horror movie that's ridiculous. So
Yep.
I'll leave it at that and let Jeff talk about it more later.
Okay. I'm going to just throw this out there so that you guys can talk more about this more. But my number 2 is the final chapter. So, but it's not by much. But there is one very important reason why the other one won, which I'll get to here in a minute. But yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and talk about part 6, and you guys can then, since you guys have the 2 number 1s to, I'll go ahead and talk about number 6. The reason why 6 wins for me, multiple reasons. One, Again, the Universal Monsters element. I mean, even though I was, we kind of talked about when we talked about the 1997 in film, that was when I was really getting deep into the Universal Monsters. But a lot of that deep that I was going were less the monsters and more just their other horror movies.
Right.
I grew up, it's like I had Sammy Terry. It was either every Friday or Saturday night here in Indy, and I'm sure somebody knows better than me. I thought it was Friday night when Nightmare Cinema was on, but anyway, those are a lot. I mean, a lot of times he's showing movies like that, those Draculas, Frankensteins, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Mummy. And if it's not him, then another station's doing it another night. And, so like there's a natural draw that I have to the monster as opposed to just the madman, the killer. And a couple of things about this movie in particular, Chuck, I agree with you. This was probably not the first one I saw, but it was certainly the one that was on TV so much that every time it was on, I just stopped and watched it, to the point where it's like, I know every scene in the order in which it takes place. And, it's like, I know the order of the people who get killed and how. The fact that this is the only one that doesn't feature nudity of any kind almost makes this eligible to be watched by younger people.
Yeah.
And I think most people our ages probably got to see this one because of that fact. It was a softer R rating. And the fact that the guy who made number 6, Tom McLaughlin, he was such a huge fan of the Universal Monsters. It's very, very obvious that the setting of this takes place at a summer camp during what feels like fall. Because the leaves are blowing around. It looks cold. It probably was cold. And I would love to see this movie in black and white. Like, I want somebody to do this in high definition black and white, not just turn off the color on my TV. I want to actually see it mastered in black and white.
Was it shot with that in mind? Because that does
No,
make
but
a difference.
no, but it does look like it could be.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I remember have a lot to do with the very end when Tommy lures Jason out into Crystal Lake and sinks him. It's like, that's great. That's fantastic. It was a guy that you thought, it's like, this guy can beat a monster. It's like, that's great. But then the main girl in this is just adorably cute. With a little bit of a naughty side because she's always rebelling against her sheriff dad,
She's so naughty.
She is. Then the one thing that every time I see it, it cracks me up, and I ponder it more and more and more. When he's attacking the people who are doing the corporate retreat paintball thing, and yeah, and the one guy comes at him with the machete, and he rips his arm off, and then he looks at the arm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I think he's realized, I think it's more than just, hey, I've got an arm in my hand. I think he's actually like pondering the fact that, holy shit, I'm like fucking superpowered now.
Yeah.
And
that movie has the stinger of all stingers too. I love the end of that.
Oh, the eyes opening or the eyes still looking
I
out.
Love it.
And also, I cannot ever talk about this movie and the person who I am and everything that you guys know about me without bringing up the James Bond beginning.
Yep.
It's fucking brilliant. It's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, and I love it. I love it.
I know it's your favorite just by that opening.
Yeah.
Perfectly. I don't care what happens the rest of the movie. Jason, do you want to? Yeah, you do. You do number 1 because I agree with you on a lot of what you're gonna say.
Yes. Final chapter is probably more than a narrow margin my favorite. But 4 and 6 are probably the two closest together, but still it's not really a question for me to pick Final Chapter as my number one, and most of that has to do with the sheer likability of the cast.
Yeah,
every
100%.
single character I love. They all kind of have their own quirks and defaults and defects, but they all have a lot of charm. They all seem like real people, which is hard to find in a slasher film. I love freaking well, I love them all, but I really love the love that Sarah and Doug have for each other. I think their relationship is adorable. Did you guys freeze? Okay, good. I thought you froze for a second.
I'm just listening intently.
Yeah, I'm into this.
It's Doug and Sarah, right? I
Yes,
love them.
I think so.
There's so many movies where it's the asshole boyfriend with the sweet girl, and not this movie. They're both sweet, and they're both allowing each other. They're moving at each other's pace, right? There's no pressure. Sarah has complete agency in her decision to make love with Doug. She never doesn't feel pressured. And then it all falls apart after that, right? It's just like you get to really love these characters so much, and then there's this culmination of their really sweet love scene, and then it all just goes to hell, and Jason just rips it all back down, right? You really feel every death in this movie. I love Corey Feldman in it. His arc as a little kid who has to grow up way too fast is really believable. He goes from this really childish boy to having to literally defeat a monster, psychopathic monster, right? And it feels genuine. It doesn't feel forced at all. I love the boy or the brother trying to find his sister, right? Even though the timeline is all wonky, I don't care. I love that. Yeah, and it also has of the first 4 movies, there's clearly a bigger budget here. So everything feels grander. Everything feels like they're wanting to go out with a bang, and it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Final Chapter, and of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the computer, the dead fuck, and Crispin Glover's goofy dance.
Yes.
It just lends so much to the charm of this movie. Their relationship is great. Like you're supposed to be kind of, I think, like Ted, is it? It's supposed to be. It might not be Ted, but it is Ted. He's kind of obnoxious, but he's also likable, right? He's like this likable goofball.
Well, he's taking the piss out of his buddy, like buddies do. So.
Right. It feels genuine. Yeah, they're never mean spirited. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you mention the line that sends shivers down your spine every time?
Oh God, it is the worst when the brother is trapped in the basement, and he's I always forget the character's names, but he's letting Corey Feldman's sister get away, but he's screaming, "He's killing me!" Like, oh, it wrenches my heart every time I hear it. It feels, and that to me is the scariest kill in the whole franchise, because the actor really sells it, and it feels like a real loss. It's there's a lot of this movie that is fun, but also really truly like terrifying, and I think that's why I love it so much.
I will hard agree with you on everything you just said, and I will say it's one of the few horror films I've ever seen where at no point am I rooting for the killer.
Yeah.
Like at 0 point. Like there, it seems like every horror film has that asshole boyfriend or that one character where you're like, oh, I can't wait until that fucker dies.
Right.
This one's like, no, you're gonna deal with hard deaths this whole fucking time. Sorry about your luck.
Yep.
And but it really, there is a major, like, take Jason out of it. There's like a story in there.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you could take the killer out of this movie and it'd still be good. That's what I think I love about it. Those characters are all interesting and fun.
Yeah, it could be like a sweet coming of age movie that you really enjoy hanging out. It's like a hangout, teen movie with
Yeah,
the,
where-
that
Where the
goes-
little boy next door is
Yeah.
falling in love with the girl or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot you could do with this that isn't
Uh-huh.
just a horror movie. And I think in a lot of ways it transcends horror because of that.
And the Doublemint twins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Doublemint twins.
I was about to bring them up because they have their own like little plot there where one is
Uh-huh.
always stealing the other one's thunder.
Yeah.
And that's how you tell them apart, is that one is more outgoing than the other.
Yeah. If there's an unlikable character, it's probably the one Doublemint twin that sleeps with Crispin Glover. She seems a little
She's a little devious.
yeah, because she's trying to steal everybody's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I will say also that the what was I there was something I was going to say about this movie in particular, or about those characters. There's the one point where the dog just fucks off. He's like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just leaves.
The other thing that this movie is wonky on is the mom, because she just disappears.
She disappears
dies
for no reason.
Well,
Yeah.
I think she's dead someplace, but
she's
we never
she's
find
off
her.
screen, but yeah, it's pretty awkward. Yeah, that's wonky for sure.
But yeah, it always makes me laugh that the dog's like, nope, I'm out, and he just takes off.
Maybe he got
I mean-
on one of the twins' bikes and just pedaled off.
He's got good instincts, that dog. If we're done talking about the movies, I don't know if you wanted to talk about the ranks, but two interesting things I see.
Just got to put it into his computer.
Well,
It's already here.
I've already got it, and you're both dead fucks.
Jason Takes Manhattan, and that's right. Just fucking end the episode. I don't even want to talk about the numbers anymore. That's perfect.
Anyway, you were about to say about Jason.
All I was going to say is two interesting things I noted is that Jason Takes Manhattan and the remake are tied. Like, they're both
Yep.
number 9. And Friday the 13th, the original and 2 are tied.
Oh wait, are you actually looking at?
Yeah, I'm
Computer
looking at the
rankings?
computed numbers here.
Oh, I don't have this link. Hold on.
Well, you have the
this up.
link, but you didn't.
Oh, I didn't know I could click on this thing. Oh, looky there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
so
at that. All right, here is our final rankings, aggregated, averaged by the three of us. Coming in at number 12 is Jason X. Coming in at 11th, just a little bit ahead of it, is Jason Goes to Hell: The Final Friday. Then there's a little bit of a jump, a couple of points difference, and we have a tie for 9th place, and that is Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and then we also have the remake, the 2009 remake, or reboot, or whatever you want to call it. Then coming in 8th place, a little bit ahead of those two tied 9th place finishes, is Part 7, The New Blood, which also has the largest variance. I gave it a 6th. Jason and Chuck both put it at 9 and 10th, respectively. Then coming in solidly in 7th place is Freddy vs. Jason. Then in 6th place, we have Friday the 13th Part 3, with Jason being kind of the outlier there, ranking that as low as 7th. And then we have a little bit ahead of that then, coming in 5th, maybe a little bit of the surprise, is the 5th film, A New Beginning, which a lot of people think is one of the worst ones, but we have it pretty high on our aggregated list. And then we have a tie for 3rd place between the original 1980 Friday the 13th and its first sequel, Part 2. And then a couple of points ahead of that are our top 2 finishers that have a very small variance between them. 2nd place, my favorite, Part 6, Jason Lives. And the winner, which was both Jason and Chuck's favorite, the final chapter, which is part 4.
Clear number 1 in the final chapter. Sorry, Jeff. But no, for real though, like obviously
they're way close. Like
yes.
Well, look at where one. Okay, so 4 and 6 are a full 2 points ahead of the tied third place, which is almost another full 2 points ahead of the next one.
Yep. The highest variance is A New Beginning, I think, if I'm looking at this correctly. 7 and 4.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that one of us has it in.
Well, no, wait, hang on a second. Also, we have New Blood 6, 9, 10. So
there's a 6 in there. Damn, Jeff, you really like the New Blood.
I do. Extra points for that one bitchy blonde that gets killed that I thought was really hot.
Yeah, you did like her. This was fun though, and it's interesting if you look at this, that while the first and the second fall at 3, that 2 of the middle chapters are the favorite. I'd be really interested when we release this episode if we can ask people who listen to send their ranks. I don't know how many we'll get, but I know people that think 5 is the best. Like, I know people that think that. So I
know a lot of people who would put that the worst.
Yeah.
So I think what would be funny is if Jeff created the Friday the 13th ranking calculator. Everybody ranked all their movies and clicked enter, and then whatever they did, it just said, "You're a dead fuck."
But still send us the numbers so we can
so that we can put them on your tombstone.
Yeah. And then
your pizza, your tombstone pizza. Chuck's gonna die.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, that was fun. It was fun to go through those. It was kind of nice to do it without, because I think my ranking changed from the last time I said it. Just thinking about it here, I didn't pre-organize it, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, no, this is a good series, and I guess I don't know. There's probably another Friday the 13th at some point,
sometime. Well, we got the TV show supposedly coming soon.
Yep. Maybe we can talk about the TV show before the next Friday the 13th. Who knows?
Maybe we can talk about the TV show.
But TVs. There'll probably be an actual Friday the 13th, huh? So we'll have to decide what we want to do. We've talked about doing some adjacent movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's The Burning. There's Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff we could talk about.
All sorts of stuff.
And there's also fan films.
Yes, there are.
With some snowy kills.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It
Could be fun.
Well, hope you all are having a wonderful Friday the 13th.
Ooh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Guess when the next one is? The next Friday the 13th on the calendar.
It's probably October.
It is.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's an extra spooky Friday the 13th.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So that's when we'll do another one of these specials.
Yeah.
Specials.
What's next in the real world of Film Seizure?
I got the calendar right here. On Wednesday morning, we have episode number 245.
Jeez.
I know. Out of Sight. It's out of sight that we've gone that many episodes, huh? So we talked about Jackie Brown a couple of days ago. And we thought, well, what better way to follow that up than with the other 90s Elmore Leonard that followed it, that also featured Michael Keaton for a scene. And that is Out of Sight. Because we could have talked about, Get Shorty. We could have talked about other Elmore Leonard stuff. But we picked the Out of Sight because that's peak Clooney J-Lo business.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So that is Wednesday morning. On Monday afternoon next week on Monster Mondays, I'm talking about Monkey Shines. So tune into that. You can find that at filmseizure.com. You can follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, Big good stuff like that. But go to the website. You can find all the places you can follow. You can subscribe to us at several places like SoundCloud, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and also on YouTube as well, where we upload this stuff. So so go do those things. That is where it is happening. And if you want to know more scary goodness, you can go over to my website today, bmovieanima.com, and read my review of David Winter's horror film, The Last Horror Film, starring Joe Spinell, Caroline Munro. Good little guerrilla shot film and Cannes Film Festival in 1981. It's fun. Anyway, so I mean, I know that this was probably pretty scary. So we're glad that you guys stuck around the campfire as we talked about the Friday the 13th movies one more time. But until next time, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.